Hey, diabetic friends. This is Charlie here on High on Diabetes. This whole month of November, we've been celebrating the diabetics in our lives or ourselves if we're the diabetic. And we've also been spreading awareness to those who maybe don't live with diabetes, let them know what it's like, hoping for we have awesome technology, but hoping that research will get us more, even maybe a cure. How awesome would that be? But for myself, to spread awareness, I've been posting every day a fact about diabetes. Hopefully you've been enjoying that. And I've also been interviewing members of my family because I come from a unique situation where more of us are diabetic than aren't. But you can read more about that on my blog if you go to the About page on highondiabetes.com. But this week I have my lovely sister.
Hello.
And it's interesting because Ashley has been diabetic since she was 18 months old and I was 21. So even though I'm 4 years older than her, she has been diabetic for 15 years longer than I have. So she's has a lot of wisdom. Anyways, I'm excited to do this interview with her. My first question is, Ashley.
Yes.
What is your earliest memory that has to do with diabetes?
Okay, my earliest memory is of when we would get together for dinner as a family. Hopefully this memory happened before we all got together. But my mom would have us line up. Jake and I, my younger brother, was also diabetic, and we would line up to get our insulin shot for dinner, and we'd throw ourselves over her lap, she'd pull down our pants and stick a needle in our butts, and I remember getting my shot that way, and it was like that every day, and hopefully Charlie doesn't remember that much, but
I do remember that, but they were so little that it just didn't matter. So I do remember that. And I was probably just glad that I wasn't in that lineup. But, okay.
Yeah. Okay, my next memory is of, my mom being diabetic and having diabetic children didn't want to have candy all around the house. So she would hide it. And I like to go find it. So when I found candy, I remember one time taking all the candy that could fit in my little hand and running outside to hide in the play set and eat all the candy that I could.
I did not know this was happening, or I would have been joining.
Yeah, so I was good at keeping those secrets.
That's awesome. All right, now it's my turn to share my earliest memory of Ashley and diabetes. So, like I said, I'm 4 years older, and Ashley and I have shared a room for a long time growing up, and we had a bunk bed. And I remember I always slept on the top, except for the one time that I convinced her to sleep on the top and she broke her arm. But anyways, that's a story for another day. But, so I remember waking up and Ashley had fallen out of the bottom bunk onto the floor and she was just kind of moaning and crying, and I was so upset because it's the middle of the night and I was just telling her to be quiet. I was really mad until it dawned on me that this was not normal. And so Ashley was probably low. And being the wonderful big sister that I am, and also wanting to prove to my parents that I was big and old and whatever, I decided to take care of it myself. So I remember going upstairs to get her tester and going back down, and all this is taking time, which when you're low, time is precious, and I know that now. But anyways, here I am trying to test her blood sugar, and she's not cooperating. Like, she won't stop moaning and rolling around and being weird. And I'm like, hold still, especially when you're trying to get that little dot of blood onto the test strip. And I'd never really done it before. I'd just seen it a million times. So here I am trying to do it and having no success. And so I gave up and I finally went upstairs and told Mom and Dad what was going on. And of course, they're frantic, run downstairs. My dad gets the glucagon shot out and puts it in her leg, and the problem is fixed, after, when you go that low, it took a while, I think, probably, do you remember any of this, 30 minutes maybe?
Nope, I don't remember.
She came to again, and we finished sleeping the rest of the night, but after a shot like that, that's a ton of sugar, you can sometimes throw up. So in the morning, we're eating breakfast. She must have had orange juice for breakfast, because I walk into the bathroom and there is Ashley throwing up on the floor orange juice. And oh my goodness, orange juice looks surprisingly the same after it's been thrown up. And it was so gross and sticky and yucky on the floor, and to this day I cannot drink orange juice. So anyways, there you go.
I can't drink orange juice either. Maybe it's because of
It's
that.
probably that.
There you
It is
go.
probably that. Okay, you guys. True story. All right, my next question. I should say my sister is pregnant. And how far along are you now?
25 weeks.
25 weeks. And you can imagine pregnancy is hard in and of itself, but adding type 1 diabetes to that is just an extra thing to think about and adds for a little bit more difficulty. But I wanted to ask Ashley, since she's in it right now, experiencing it, for those of us who maybe you're pregnant and diabetic or want to be at some point, what is something that has helped you, Ashley, managing your diabetes while pregnant?
The biggest thing has been my continuous glucose monitor. I have a love-hate relationship, mostly hate, but it really does get me through the day, and making sure I can prepare for the highs that are coming and keep them lower than they would be, and also helps my husband prepare for the lows that are coming. So
Ashley can be violent when low. We're learning
yes,
that.
Apparently.
I'm violent when high, so we're all different. The hate part of this relationship, is it the alerts or?
It is the alerts. Sometimes also my pump will disconnect to my CGM, which honestly that doesn't happen to everyone who has a Medtronic pump and a Guardian sensor. But I've been experienced that a lot lately, so I have to either replace the CGM and then the alerts that come. So it's just figuring out how to deal with my sensor and what's going on that causes the hate.
First world diabetic problems. Pumps are awesome, and then when they don't work, you're mad.
Right.
Anyways, okay, I have one last question, and that is just her advice to diabetics listening.
Yeah, so my first advice is similar to what my mom said last week in her video. Diabetes isn't a restriction. You just need to prepare for what's coming. So you want to go on a trip? You can go on the trip. Just prepare a little more. Make sure you have what you need. If you want to go hang out with friends, make sure you take what you need. It's all about the preparation. And along that same thought, having the friends around you that can support you and help you with your diabetes, and that's really any disease. Just it's important to have people around you who support you and can help you feel like you can manage the different things that creep up. You can manage them even in the presence of your friends. And if you have a friend who's going to judge you for it or make you feel like you can't manage your diabetes in front of them, they're really not the friends that are worth keeping around you. So I just feel like living through being in elementary school, junior high, high school, college, I was really lucky to have friends around me that encouraged me to take care of myself and didn't care that I had to stop and take care of myself. They supported me.
I second that. I have good friends now. I was not a teenager that was diabetic, but I thankfully have a lot of really good adult friends who do help me. Anyways, and a wonderful husband. We both have awesome husbands that help us even when we're violent.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Like my sister said, I already interviewed my mom. You can check that out on my YouTube channel and see what my mom has to say. Kind of cool finding out what it was like to be diabetic in the 1960s. And then check back next week. I'm going to do this every weekend. I'll be getting another member of my family next time. Thanks. Bye.